welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a simple login and register system using Python. So the first thing you should do is create a folder, and inside that folder I need you to create two files. The first file that you should create is a text file. The next file you should create is a Python file. I'm going to explain why we're creating this Python file. So all this should be done inside a project folder. So once you are done, open the folder with your code editor. So I've opened mine in Visual Studio Code. So after doing that, I want you to install a module, as we are going to be using a module. I want you to go to your command line and do pip install get pass. Pip install get pass. Now run this command and it's going to install the get pass module. Once you are done, go back to your Python file and say from get pass import get pass. So this is going to install the get pass module. Now after doing that, let me just explain what our program is going to do. So every username and password that is being created is going to be saved into a text file. So that's why we're creating a text file. So the username and password is going to be saved into a text file. Now when a user wants to log in, whatever details that he enters is going to be compared to what is inside the text file. Hence, if those details don't correlate, it's going to be an error, but if they correlate, it's going to perform some action. So we're going to create two functions. The first function is register. We're going to say register, and for now we're just going to say pass. For now we'll just say pass. And then the next function that we are going to create is login. So we'll say def login. And then here we would also say pass. Now we are going to add some code here. So after doing this, we are not going to create a variable. We are going to say reg or login. Now this variable is going to accept inputs from the user. That is, it's going to accept input of do you want to register or log in. So we're going to say input INPU. So we're going to say do you want to register or log in. But before doing that, let's just add some information. We're going to say print enter reg to register, and then after that we'll say print enter login. We'll say enter login to login. So here it's going to say do you want to register or login. So we're going to put a conditional. If the person wants to register, we're going to call this function, and if the person wants to log in, we'll call this function. So we're going to say if reg or login is equal to reg, then I'm going to call this register function. And then after doing that, we're going to say else. We'll say else if reg or login is equal to login, then we are going to call the login function. We'll say login. Then we now put a conditional that okay, if the user doesn't even input register or login, then it should print an error. Then we'll say else print error wrong input. So the user can only input reg or login. So we'll say error wrong input. So we now need to write the logic. We need to write the logic behind this code here, behind these two functions. So we'll come here and remove this. We want the user to register, so the user is going to give us a username and password. So we're going to create a username. We'll say we would say username is equal to input, and we would say enter username, and then we'll put colon here. So we're now going to say okay, enter password too, but this is where we're going to be using this get pass. We want to hash it in such a way that when the person is typing in the password, nothing is displayed on the screen, but whatever you're typing in is actually being saved. So I'm going to say password is equal to, instead of input, we would say get pass, and you're going to see the result at the end. We would say get pass, and okay, let me just put a colon here. Get pass, and we would say create password, and this is just going to create a password for us. Then we're now going to say confirm password. We'll create a variable named confirm password, that is for the person to create to confirm password. So we'll also say get pass, and here we would say confirm password. Now we need to write a conditional to check if these two passwords are the same, or if they are not the same. So we would say if if password is equal to confirm password, then we would say if create password is equal to confirm password, then this is where we are going to write the code that is going to save this password to the text file. Now the first thing I will do is we're going to open our text file. So since I created a text file inside this current directory and I named this pass.txt, I am going to say open pass.txt. Now we need to open it in a particular mode, so I'm going to open it in append mode. Now anytime you're working with, if you want to learn how to work with text files in Python more, click the link in the description below. I have a video talking about it. So now we want to open this file in append mode because we want to write and append something into the file. So I'm going to say open pass.txt, then in append mode. Then we need to assign it to a variable. So I'm going to say password file is equal to this. So I'm now going to say dot write. That is, we've already opened it in append mode, so we want to write something into the file. That is, we want to write the username and password. So we'll now come here and we would say, we'll now come down and say password file dot write. Then we would say we want to write the username and password into this file. So we're just going to say password file dot write. Let me use the f string over here. So we would say, okay, I need to put this in quotes. I'm sorry. So we would say, okay, dot write. Let me say username, and then the username is going to be this username variable. And then after doing that, we'll just put this and we'll say password, and we'll do this, and inside here we would save the confirm password variable. So we'll say confirm password and we'll save that. So why is this giving us an error? PAS. Okay, sorry, this is double A. We need to make it 1A. So now this is going to write our username and password into this particular file, but we also need to, sorry, I don't know how to do backslash on my computer or my laptop, so I always have to come and copy it. So we need to also write put a new line after this. So inside here I'm going to put this. That is, we are saying, okay, after writing this username and password into the text file, create a new line inside the text file. So now we've written the code for registry. Now we also need to put another conditional, that is else if. Here we would say else if password is not equal to create password, then we would say print, print error. Okay, sorry. We'll say print error, passwords do not match. So we need to put this create, okay, query is equal to confirm password. So we need to put this in a while loop because we want the program to keep asking the person for username and password. So in case if the person inputs a wrong, in case person inputs two passwords that don't match, it's going to ask this person to create again. So we would come here and say while true, and then we would come here and indent everything properly so that we don't get indentation errors. So after, we will now come to this line. So after writing this thing to the file, we're now going to say break. That is, we want to break out of the loop. And before saying break, we need to close this file that we opened here. Remember, anytime you're working with text files in Python, always remember to close them. So we're going to say password file dot close. So that is going to close the file for us. So after doing that, you now need to come to this line and say, okay, else if password is not equal to confirm password, print error, passwords do not match. Then we want it to now continue. That is, want it to continue the loop. So it's going to now ask the person to create a password again, create a username and password again. So we now need to come down to the login area. So we've written code for creating a new user. So let's now write the code for logging in. So at the login place, it's going to ask the user also for username and password. So I am just going to come here and copy this instead of writing it again. I'm also going to put everything inside a while loop. So we're going to say while true, and we'll put a colon here. So I'm just going to paste this, and I'm going to change this from create password to enter password. So it's going to be enter password. Now we need to verify if the username, if the username and password that the user inputted is inside the text file. So we're now going to open the text file again. So we're going to say file, we're going to say password file is equal to open, and we're going to say pass.txt because that's the name of the text file I created. And then in here we are going to put it in, we need to put a comma here, sorry. And after doing this, we need to put it in read mode, which is R. So let's come here to the top and put a comma. So we need to put it in read mode, that is, we want Python to enter this file and read it. So we're now going to say dot read over here. So Python is going to go into this file and read the content. So we're now going to write a conditional to tell Python that, okay, to tell Python to check if the username and password that the user inputted is inside the text file. So we're going to say if username and password in password file. Now take note of what I have written. We are telling the Python that, okay, if username and password in password file, that is, if what the person inputted is inside the file, so we're going to say, okay, print, we'll say print welcome. We'll say print welcome. Then we're now going to put another condition on that. Else, if it is not inside, we'll say else, then we'll put colon. We'll print invalid username or password. They will now say full stop, try again. So we need to now come here and say break. That is, when the user has inputted the correct details, we're not going to tell the program to break. Or else, if the person inputs wrong details, we're going to say continue. So I think that is all the code we need to write. Okay, yeah, don't forget, we need to close this password file here. So we're going to say, we'll come here and say password file does close. Password file, okay, dot close. Now we've written all this code. Let us run it. Hopefully it works. So we'll come here. Let me enlarge my terminal so that I can run it. So I will just run this. So yeah, my computer is a little bit slow, so I think, okay, it's running fast today, thank God. So it's going to ask us enter, it's going to tell us enter reg to register, enter login to login. Ooh, sorry, I didn't put a colon here. So if I say reg, you can see I didn't put a colon here, so that makes it look weird. So let me just take my terminal down to define it well. Okay, so here I'll put a colon. So here, if I say reg and since there is no user, I'm just going to say reg. So it's going to ask me enter username. I would say IO. Now it's going to say create password. Now notice what happens when I type in the password. I am going to say IO as a password, but you can see nothing is showing on the screen, but I've already typed in a password. And it's going to say confirm password IO. Now this is because of the get pass module. So what does it say? It says takes exactly one argument. Okay, we made a mistake here. Sorry, let me go back to the top. We need to remove this dot, right? This was a mistake here. So yes, password file dot, right? It should work now. So let's run our code again. That was a very nasty error. So it's going to say, as you can see, space has been given. So if we say reg, it's going to say enter username. So I'm going to say IO, then create password. I'm going to say IO. So it's say confirm password. I'll say IO. And then if we now come to our text file and check the contents, we would see that a text file has been created. Okay, sorry, let me I had some content in there before. So let's run the code again. And let's add some extra text to when the user is created. So we're now going to say, let's add print accounts created. So let's run our code again. Let me say CLS to clear all this excess. So I am running it now. I'm mistakenly typing it. So let me run my code and we are going to see the result. Okay, so it's going to ask me, so I'm going to say register, then say username, I will say IO, then password, I will just say DG, then confirm password DG. So it's going to say account created. Now if we go to that particular text file and check the content of the text file, we are going to see that we can see username IO, password DG, and this is exactly what we typed in here. So I spelled username wrong here, so I'm just going to come to the top, and yeah, US, I didn't put E. Yes, so you can see that it works. Now let's try to log in. Now I'm going to press the play. Let's try to log into my accounts, the accounts that I just created. Now there is a way to always there's a way to loop this question, this do you want to register or log in, and I'm going to show you how to do it now. So I'm going to say login, then to ask me to enter username, I will say Ayo, then enter password, I will say Deji. Okay, what is wrong with my okay, now I inputted something wrong. It said invalid username or password, try again. Now I'm going to say Ayo, and then it's going to say enter password. Now I'm going to say Deji. Notice that nothing shows because we're using the guest pass module. So if I press enter, it's going to say welcome. So that is how to create a basic login system in Python. Now the way we can loop this register or login question, all we need to do is come here and say while true, you would say while true, and you just come here and indent this well. So that is all for today, guys. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Please, if you want to support my channel, please like, share, subscribe and come back for more.
Where are you?